can I ask you guys a question first? Who here runs a node? Raise your hand. Oh, that's a decent amount, maybe a third of the room. Who here runs a node with Alby? Are you familiar with Alby? Anyone running a node with Alby? Nice, nice. They have done a lot of cool developmental stuff in the Bitcoin space, particularly around LN URLs or lightning addresses, I think sometimes people call them. And yeah, now apparently they are exploring Bitcoin apps and artificial intelligence, or AI. So as the world experiments with AI agents that can transact on their own, as we just learned in the previous talk, Bitcoin is emerging as this sort of natural money for this new digital economy. Here to show us how that future is unfolding is Moritz Kaminski, who is the co-founder of Alby, a company that builds open tools for streaming payments, for Lightning integrations, and programmable Bitcoin experiences. Sorry, it's getting late in the day, and you can tell I'm struggling a little bit with my words, but that's okay, because I'm going to hand it over to Moritz just now. So please give it up for Moritz, the co-founder of Alby, for his talk this afternoon. Over to you, Moritz.
Thanks, Joey.
Cheers.
All right, here's the clicker. Cool. Yeah, first of all, amazing to see so many people running nodes. That's super cool. And I hope after this presentation you can also then install Alby Hub on this node and try out all these cool things that I will show you. Because we really believe that apps and AI will unlock a huge payment activity on Bitcoin. Yeah, and I'm Moritz, co-founder at Alby. And what we do is we really think like Bitcoin payments should be as easy as sharing information on the internet, right? It's super easy to send an email, open a chat with somebody on the browser. It's extremely accessible, and also payments, in our point of view, should be like that, and that's why we build on Bitcoin. All the Bitcoin tools that we are building, they are self-custodial, they are open source, and they are also built on open protocols. One of it is Alby Hub. It's a Bitcoin wallet that connects seamlessly to apps. It runs on, it has an embedded node, but it also runs on other nodes like LND from Lightning Labs, for example. And it runs on any kind of environment, so it's extremely flexible. There's the Alby extension, right? Some of you might know it's basically a wallet interface when you want to talk to the browser for programmable money with the internet. No scanning of QR codes needed, because I mean we are in the digital space. Why should we actually scan QR codes? Something like the Alby extension enables that. We have Alby Go. If you run around here in Lugano, you want to pay at McDonald's with Lightning, you can do that with Alby Go, for example. And now there's also the Alby Bitcoin Payments MCP server, which is a wallet interface for your AI agent. So we build tools a lot for consumers, but also for businesses and developers. And we contribute really a lot to, especially to the layer between wallets and applications, because we think that's really where Bitcoin payment activity will happen in the future. So our vision of a wallet is a bit like it's sort of the center, right? And it connects seamlessly to apps, where you can then make native payments directly in the app without actually loading up another balance. Just connect your wallet that you have. If you do a payment in the browser, you can use the browser extension, or Alby Go if like in the real world, basically. But always at the center, there's one wallet that you can use, and also there are now agents. But how do we connect all these AI agents, right? That's a question that we try to find out at Alby, because we think in 2030 we will have a lot more native Bitcoin use. Right, so there will be more disposable Bitcoin income. More merchants will adopt Bitcoin. More businesses will accept Bitcoin, and also consumers. And also the usage of AI and agents will increase, just because they can create a more personalized experience. You will have a more embedded experience. And why should you actually learn another interface or UI if you can just chat or talk to an agent who does the service for you, right? And also then agents will ultimately start using Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is the money of the internet. Agents that are built on open protocols want to use money on open protocols, and that's why they will start with Bitcoin. And I guess you are already familiar with some of these AI use cases when it comes to Bitcoin. So quite straightforward. You can pay with Bitcoin. Some chat agents that you use, not yet with ChatGPT maybe, but for example with PPQ from Matt there. Shout out to him, amazing app that he's building. You should definitely try it out. So that's one use case. There's also like personal assistants, right, who combine different services and help you with travel planning, for example. And you do not need to directly interact with websites like Travala or Bitrefill, which does not mean that you don't use their service. It's just you use them in a different way. And then you will also pay for specialized tools and services like whether an SMS service that Felix built. I saw you somewhere here, there. Amazing, thank you so much for building that. Also worth trying it out. And then you will see also agents that earn money, that are autonomous. And for all of these 4 use cases, I will show you now examples. But still the question remains, like, how do we actually bring Bitcoin into these AI agents, right? So, because if you work with an agent, it has no tools. Well, it has some content that it knows from the internet, but it cannot do really advanced things, right? It can help you write an email, but it cannot really send it, right? It can help you find some medication, but it cannot really buy it for you. So payments are actually not possible. But if you give tools to these agents, the sky is really the limit, right? And we will see how that works. And big enabler here is the Model Context Protocol, the MCP. And MCP now is basically the standard for connecting tools to an AI agent, because what it means that these tool developers, they only need to implement basically one API and can connect it to every agent with every model. That's extremely portable right now, and also the output of the tools is just a list which is human readable and in JSON, so it's also rather simple to use and understand. But then, so we basically know how we can give tools to an agent, but like, okay, for us at Alby, then the question arises, which wallet should we use to connect to an agent, right? And there are a bunch of amazing Lightning wallets out there. But should we really do that for each and every one of these? And luckily, we do not have to do that, because there is a protocol called Nostr Wallet Connect, which enables exactly that, like these seamless wallet-to-app connections across different environments. So it works to mobile apps, it works to web apps, for example. From custodial apps, it works from self-custodial apps, it works from nodes. So Nostr Wallet Connect nicely covers all of these different use cases to really do these app wallet communication in an automated way. It's a bit like USB-C, just for wallets and apps. And from a user perspective, even though like there's Nostr involved in the name, you do not really need to know anything about Nostr. No private key needed. It's a bit like, okay, you write emails, but you don't really know what's based on, right? You use the browser, but what protocol is it running on? It's not really important information. And it's extremely simple for developers to integrate Nostr Wallet Connect if they want to embed payments, right? Because you do not need to be afraid of becoming a custodian because you accept payments from users. You're basically just orchestrating payments. And also you don't need to like custody keys from users when they connect their wallet, which is also, I think, quite a mental burden for some of these developers. So from that side, quite a lot of benefits. And this is basically how it works. It's super straightforward. You have you have a wallet that is connected to an app. Okay, and you want to do a payment in this app to another person, for example. The app sends a pay invoice request. It's forwarded via a relay to the wallet of you, and then your wallet pays it basically to the receiver. That's a very simple communication flow. how this works. And because it's so simple, because it has so many benefits, like the adoption of Nostr Wallet Connect, especially in the last year, like is amazing, I would say. So you see it's quite a diverse ecosystem. You see a bunch of different wallets. You see payment tools, very strong in the social media area, where you can do a lot of small payments between users. Yeah, there's also accounting analytics tools now, long-form content. Also some exchanges support Nostr Wallet Connect right now. What else do we have? Yeah, also I think worth mentioning are like developer tools and libraries is a growing area which is important for like future adoption as well. So now we have Nostr Wallet Connect, which is this open protocol, and we can now use that to bring this together with the model context protocol to connect wallets basically to agents. And the cool thing is, for example, it has really a great fit because you can have budgets, so you can restrict agents to do only certain payments up to this budget. You can have sub-wallets to separate payments nicely from your own wallet to give it a bit more control, for example. And there's also a persistent connection. So this means that you can also, at some point, have an independent agent running autonomously, for example, with a wallet. And that's why we brought these two things together at Alby, and we built this the Alby Bitcoin Payments MCP server. And it's now extremely easy to connect any Lightning wallet. So like really any Lightning wallet is basically now a agentic wallet, if you want that. It supports different protocols, like L402, for example, also Lightning addresses. And it's really like plug-and-play experience to ChatGPT, Goose, and what agent you use. That's how it looks like, right? So there is this. It's a bit hard to control, but you see this URL there. It's https mcp.getalby.com that you plug into an agent, basically. And that gives you now, that connects your wallet and gives you access to tools. And now the agent basically has the same access, or basically the whole tool set of a complete wallet, right? So you can send payments, receive payments, you can list the balance or list transactions, parse invoices. So it's extremely powerful, and I show you why. Let's maybe start with this example here. So I wanted to buy a gift card on Bitrefill with Bitcoin, and it should be from Google Play, right? I gave this command. I connected my wallet. I connected also the Bitrefill MCP server, and the agent went to Bitrefill, checked the supply there, and bought me a gift card, right? And this is also a very nice example how, for example, Bitrefill leads the space here when it comes to Bitcoin e-commerce. Super convenient. And at the end, it pays. Also, the agent pays it for me directly out of my wallet. It also works with N8N, so you don't need to be like you don't need to run like an agent in your own developer environment locally, for example. You can also just use a workflow tool like N8N and plug different things in, like the model via OpenRouter, for example, the AI model via OpenRouter that you use, for example, and have a very simple chat application already, right? But you don't need to stop there, actually. So you can do a lot more. You can add a Lightning wallet. You can also add a weather MCP and ask, okay, what's the weather in Lugano today, for example, and it gives you an output. You can also send SMS via chat, for example, to anybody, to any other mobile phone number. So the sky is really the limit here. And yeah, installation is quite straightforward. as you've seen, you go to your wallet, get this NWC Nostr Wallet Connect connection string, start up your agent. Could be Goose, could be ChatGPT, like any major AI agent now supports this protocol, and plug it in, and that's it basically. So these are already a few examples that you've seen. Trading is another area that we have explored a little bit. So we want to use an agent, or with the help of an agent, trade Bitcoin. Here, colleagues from the Starkware team, they connected the Alby Bitcoin Payments MCP server with a Lightning wallet. They connected a swap service and then also a Starknet wallet. And what they did is they swapped via this agent then Lightning Bitcoin to Starknet tokens, and they received these 420 sats in Starknet on a Starknet address, basically. Another example is LN Markets. I guess a lot of you know that. Actually, for LN Markets, there's also an MCP server. So they have an API. This is now abstracted away as an MCP server, and you can super easily plug that in any agent. And what I've done there is, instead of going to LN Markets, deposit fund sats there, press some buttons, I just asked my agent to do that for me, right? So I asked, first of all, send some sats, deposit some sats to LN Markets, and then I said, please buy me $1 US future without leverage, because I do not really like trading. So I was really careful there. The agent then opened a futures position for me, and a few minutes later I asked it also to close it. And yeah, since I'm not really good in trading, I also had a negative P&L there, but it was quite easy to do actually. And I think that's Claude here. So you can just go to the Claude website. You need a pro plan, but you don't need to download anything. So it's extremely accessible. The next step then was, okay, so like before we did trading, right? We did trading with directly interacting with an agent. Then we thought, okay, how could that look like if we have an autonomous Bitcoin trading bot? And that's what we built. We built RecBot 9000 for a hackathon 2 weeks ago at Bitcoin++. Yeah, it was a fun project, but we gave our best, but it's still really, really bad when it comes to risk management, unfortunately. And the idea was, okay, we let the bot run. It does trades, and if it runs out of money because it might lose, it might do some profit, then it can run forever. If it loses some money, then it will basically die on the internet. We hope it doesn't die. You can follow its results on Nostr. Whenever it is in a bad mood because it makes a bad trade, then it changes the picture to red. So, and most of the time, unfortunately, because of its risk management, it's red. It will post the trade details from LN Markets. So it usually uses high leverage. In this case, is 50 times. And it also does some shit posting, so it's quite entertaining if you want to follow it. And if you want to ask questions, you can also do that, because it will reply back to you. We did that in 6 hours, and the main language that we used to build this was actually just plain English. And that's possible because we used existing standardized tool sets to plug it together, right, with these open protocols. It's super cool and super easy to use. So we used the Alby Bitcoin Payments MCP server with a wallet. We used a Nostr MCP server to make these shit posts, basically, and we used the LN Markets MCP server and instructed it to do based on an algorithm, open trades and close trades autonomously. And finally, so we've seen now how easy it is to connect agents, wallets to agents, and what you can do. But also basically on the supplier side, if you are thinking about, or if you're running a service and you want to sell it to agents with paid MCP, you can do that. So you can charge agents to access your service and earn Bitcoin with paid MCP. And this is an example of selling weather data to agents. So, for example, the agent asks, "Okay, what's the weather in Berlin?" And then, yeah, the other agent basically wants checks that, but then also asks for money. So I need to make a payment to access the weather data. Let me pay a Lightning invoice to retrieve weather information. And it works quite nicely because I have a wallet connected. Great, so the payment was successful. Now let me get the weather information for Berlin using the payment hash. So basically you use the payment hash as a proof of payment here, and then you get the weather output here. I mean, yeah, luckily Lugano has much nicer weather than Berlin, I would say. Yeah, and this is how paid MCP works. It's a super simple wrapper around your service. So the agent basically requests the tool usage from the paid MCP server. The MCP server then returns a Lightning invoice, and the agent pays for it. And with that, basically, then you can then also reveal the data or whatever result you are selling, or selling to agents. And yeah, if you want to think, or if you think about building such a paywall in front of your agent, and also think about, okay, how can you earn Bitcoin by selling services? Check out our GitHub repository. Go to paid MCP -boilerplate. And also on our YouTube channel, you see a video how you can, for example, sell pizza to AI agents with this paid MCP service. And yeah, that's it. I hope I could like spark some interest in this field. Like really, like the sky's the heaven. And I think what's also super important to understand is like you don't need to have any like developer experiences like me, because all you need is just a Lightning wallet, access to an agent, which is always online basically, and these MCP servers is just like really throw in some URL and then you are already connected. There's no additional installation because the Bitcoin Payments MCP server makes it extremely easy. Yeah, and I have time for questions.
Thank you, Moritz. Yes, you do. You do have time for questions. So I have a roaming microphone here. Please let me know if you have a burning question you'd like to ask Moritz based on his wonderful talk this afternoon. Any questions at all? Must have covered it. No, there's Santosh.
For the MCP server, do I need Alby Hub to operate it, or do I just need the Alby wallet?
From Alby, you would need the Alby Hub wallet.
Okay, so as long as I have the Alby Hub wallet, I can use MCP to get the URL connected to an agent and then start transacting.
Yeah, but it also works with like a Umbrel, a
Right.
Start9, a Koinos, a Primal, a Blitz wallet, and a lot more coming in the next months.
So now to use the MCP, do I need a subscription with Alby to use the MCP?
No?
No.
No.
Okay.
That's a cool thing, right? So because it's so interoperable,
Yeah.
you can use another wallet, use the Alby Bitcoin Payments MCP server without like installing anything locally, and then throw it into an agent, and then you can interact via chat with your wallet.
Super cool. I'll test it.
Yeah, please.
Congrats, you have one tester. Okay, there was a question at the back there. Yeah.
Hey, Moritz, that was a great talk. I was curious if you can talk any to some of the specific use cases you may have seen in industry from people actually using models to interact with systems like this.
So I've shown a few use cases, right? What I, for example, would love to see is these are rather straightforward things like buying a gift card. I mean, if I do that regularly, I could also go directly to Bitrefill. It's quite convenient and well built, the website anyway. But for example, when some search process is involved, for example, right, then it's quite cumbersome to check out different sites. And why not just asking an agent, hey, please, I want a gift card from Amazon. Give me the one that provides the highest cashback, for example. And I don't know where I find it, but I think an agent can find that way quicker. And I think that's also something very interesting. Same as, okay, where can I buy Bitcoin at the best rate, for example? Whenever there are different services, competing services involved, then I think that makes a lot of sense to rely on an agent, or when there's maybe a longer user journey. So for example, I want to buy something on Amazon with Bitcoin. Amazon does not accept Bitcoin today, but okay, why can I then not just plug in different MCP servers from Bitrefill, from Amazon, for example, and then the agent does it basically for me, right? It goes to Amazon, don't know, I want whatever drink from Amazon, for example, and then it knows the amount, goes to Bitrefill, gets the gift card, goes back to Amazon, and if I have to do that, it would probably take me half an hour or so, but with an agent, they can do that in 5 minutes, I guess.
Great, thank you.
Great stuff. I think we have time for one quick question. I'll come to you this way. Sorry, excuse me.
Hi. This is regarding the MCP particularly. Let us assume we have a CMS platform, example WordPress, let's say. I can integrate chatbots and AI assistants. So do I have to use Albi, or I can go to NWC MCP and implement my own, paying with Bitcoin and even access LM markets or any other margin trading platforms, or do I have to have Albi, part of this implementation?
You do not need a wallet from us. You can use any wallet. For this MCP server, you would need. I would recommend to use the Albi Bitcoin Payments MCP server. It doesn't cost anything, and yeah, you can run it locally if you want, or use the hosted version.
Fantastic. I think that concludes our questions, and we're back on schedule, back on time. So please give a warm round of applause to Moritz. Thank you so much. Go and use Albi if you don't already. I do, and it's great. Thank you again, Moritz. Pleasure. Thank you.